Stonehenge mystery solved? New study reveals 5,000-year-old secrets. For thousands of years, the stones of Stonehenge have stood as a testament to human ingenuity. But here's where the mystery finally unravels. A groundbreaking new study from Aberystwyth University may have cracked the code to one of archaeology's greatest puzzles. How did Neolithic communities move massive stones from Wales to Stonehenge over 125 miles away? Here's the story, and the shocking contradictions it reveals. At the heart of this breakthrough lies the Newall Boulder, a football-sized stone discovered in 1924 during early excavations at Stonehenge. For decades, scientists debated whether this stone and Stonehenge's iconic Bluestones were carried by humans or glacial ice. But according to cutting-edge research published in the Journal of Archaeological Science, the truth is finally clear. Professor Richard Bevins and his team conducted meticulous chemical analysis, comparing the Newall Boulder to stones from Craig Rhos-y-Felin, a remote Welsh quarry. The results were striking. Identical levels of thorium and zirconium in their geology prove they originated from the same location. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a deliberate transportation feat by Neolithic humans. But here's where the controversy erupts. While most archaeologists accept this explanation, a vocal minority, led by geologist Dr. Brian John, argues that glaciers carried the stones long before humans arrived. The stones show signs of glacial abrasion, Dr. John claims, proposing that ice sheets randomly deposited them near Salisbury Plain. Bevins' team bluntly dismisses this theory as unsupported. If glaciers had carried these stones, they explain, fragments would scatter across the region, not cluster solely around Stonehenge. They add that the surface layers of the Newall Boulder, rich in calcium carbonate, contradict glacial transport. Only human hands could flood, they conclude, with the precision seen at this sacred site. But wait, this isn't the only secret uncovered. The researchers also re-examined Stone 32D, a previously misclassified spotted dolerite that turns out to be another Welsh foliated rhyolite. This adds to the growing evidence that Stonehenge's smaller stones traveled remarkable distances to reach their current home. The team acknowledges that the exact methods used remain unknown. However, they suggest our ancestors might have used techniques familiar to indigenous cultures worldwide, like humble rope sled systems. Moving a 3.5-ton stone isn't easy, they admit. But compare that to the 40-ton sarsens transported from just 25 miles away. If humans could achieve that, smaller stones from Wales were within reach. Dr. John's dismissal challenges this view. The entire theory relies on assuming Neolithic people had tools we haven't found, he argues. But Bevins' team counters that reliance on speculative absence of evidence is disingenuous. The stones present at Stonehenge itself constitutes proof. As the debate rages, one question lingers. Could our ancestors' ingenuity dwarf our modern alliances? While this study adds powerful evidence for human transport, the methods still spark wonder. And this is the part most people miss. The stone's geological origins match quarries used for other bluestones, suggesting a coordinated effort spanning generations. So what's your take? Are these rocks testaments to human mastery of engineering, or merely the whims of ancient ice? Let us know in the comments below. One thing certain, Stonehenge stands taller than ever as a symbol of our species' capacity for extraordinary achievements. Uncovering the secrets of Stonehenge's Bluestones. Imagine the mystery of Stonehenge, a monument shrouded in ancient secrets, and a small rock fragment that could hold the key to unlocking one of its greatest enigmas. The Newall Boulder, discovered in 1924, has sparked a century-long debate among archaeologists about how the colossal Bluestones were transported to the iconic site. This debate is far from settled, and it's where things get controversial. Some experts believe the stones were moved by humans, while others argue that natural forces, specifically glaciers, played a significant role. Let's dive into this fascinating puzzle and explore the latest findings that could finally put an end to this long-standing debate. Located on the Salisbury Plain in Wiltshire, southern England, Stonehenge is a marvel of Neolithic engineering. The monument's Bluestones, which are a distinctive feature, originate from the Preseli Hills in Wales, a staggering 240 kilometers, 150 miles away. The altar stone, another significant component, hails from an even more distant location in northeast Scotland, approximately 700 kilometers, 430 miles away. The sheer distance and the monumental task of transporting these stones have left archaeologists baffled for decades. The Newall boulder, a bullet-shaped rock fragment, was found at Stonehenge and has been at the center of this debate. In the early 1990s, an analysis suggested that the boulder might be a glacial erratic, meaning it was carried to the Salisbury Plain by a glacier thousands of years ago. This hypothesis implies that the builders of Stonehenge might not have had to transport the stones across the country. Instead, they could have found them locally. But here's where it gets controversial. Some archaeologists vehemently oppose this idea, arguing that the stones were indeed transported by humans. A recent study, published in the Journal of Archaeological Science reports, aims to settle this debate once and for all. The authors refute the idea that the Newall boulder was transported by ice, arguing that the surface wear characteristics of the boulder are not diagnostic of glacial transport. They point out that most of these characteristics could be the result of surface weathering and internal discontinuities. Furthermore, there is no evidence of glaciation on the Salisbury Plain, supported by the absence of other glacial erratics or deposits in the area. This finding seems to rule out the possibility that Stonehenge building blocks were carried to the site by ice. The study authors also examined the Newall boulder closely and determined that it likely broke off from one of Stonehenge's bluestones. They noted that its petrographic features matched those found in the rhyolite at a rocky outcrop called Craig Rhos-y-Felin in the Preseli Hills, Wales. Importantly, there are no signs of glaciers extending from this site towards Stonehenge, but there is strong evidence of prehistoric quarrying at Craig Rhos-y-Felin. This suggests that the bluestones were actively extracted and transported to Stonehenge around 3000 BCE, with little to no data supporting the idea of glacial transport. The authors conclude, in summary, we reiterate our earlier interpretation that the Newall boulder is not a glacial erratic, that there is no evidence of glaciation on Salisbury Plain, and that the bluestones were transported to Stonehenge by humans rather than by ice. This study provides compelling evidence that the bluestones were indeed moved by human hands, a conclusion that could reshape our understanding of the monumental effort required to build Stonehenge. But this is the part most people miss. The debate over how the stones were transported is just one piece of the puzzle. The real question is, why did the Neolithic communities go to such extraordinary lengths to build Stonehenge? Was it a place of worship, a celestial observatory, or something else entirely? The mystery of Stonehenge continues to captivate us, and each new discovery brings us one step closer to understanding the ingenuity and determination of our ancient ancestors. So, what do you think? Do you believe the bluestones were transported by humans or by natural forces? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue the conversation about this fascinating archaeological enigma. Ancient Mystery Unraveled: How Humans Transported Stonehenge's Bluestones. The enduring mystery of Stonehenge, the iconic standing stones that draw visitors from around the globe, has long been a subject of fascination and debate. While the larger stones are well known, the smaller blue-hued megaliths, known as bluestones, have been a central point of contention among archaeologists. Sourced from distant outcrops in Wales, over 200 kilometers away, the question of how these stones arrived on Salisbury Plain has been a topic of much discussion. Some have attributed their arrival to deliberate human transport, while others have proposed that glacial ice carried them during a prehistoric advance. However, new research, led by Aberystwyth University, has shed light on this enigma, indicating that humans, not glacial transport, brought the bluestones to Stonehenge. The so-called Newall boulder from Stonehenge has been a focal point in this debate. Unlike most bluestone materials at Stonehenge, which are either standing or buried monoliths, the Newall boulder is a discrete, hand-sized fragment with a known excavation history and a thorough sampling record. It has been treated as a test case for resolving whether glacial or human transport brought the stones to Salisbury Plain. In a study published in the Journal of Archaeological Science reports, researchers conducted new mineralogical, petrographic, and geochemical analyses to determine the stone's origin and transport history. The Newall boulder, measuring 22 times 15 times 10 centimeters, was recovered during Huichtenkelsel's 1924 excavation and was removed from the site by R.S. Newall. The boulder was sampled by the Institute of Geological Sciences in the 1970s and by the Open University in the 1980s. The petrographic evidence revealed that the boulder matches rhyolite group C from Craig Rhos-y-Felin some 200 kilometers away. Geochemical analysis reinforced these correlations. Morphological comparisons showed the Newall boulder's bullet-shaped profile matches the tops of in-situ rhyolite pillars at Craig Rhos-y-Felin and mirrors the size and shape of Stonehenge's buried stump 32D. No glacial striations were observed, and surface abrasion was attributed to weathering and post-breakage burial, not glacial transport. Field investigations across Salisbury Plain have found no glacial deposits, no erratics, and no other signs of glacial movement, either at surface or within river gravels. Angular fragments near the monument show edge damage consistent with deliberate shaping, not subglacial erosion. The researchers conclude that the Newall boulder is a piece of Craig Rhos-y-Felin rhyolite, most likely broken from a monolith such as Stone 32D. All mineralogical, geochemical, and field data support human transport to Stonehenge by Neolithic people, with no evidence to support glacial movement of the stone. In discrediting the glacial hypothesis for the presence of the Newall boulder, the research bolsters the case for all of the Bluestones on the plain to be the result of ancient human efforts. This raises the question: if humans were capable of such a feat, what other ancient mysteries might we uncover? And this is the part most people miss. The true wonder of Stonehenge lies not just in the stones themselves, but in the ingenuity and determination of the people who moved them.